Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah, and this is Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto. And sometimes I veer off, and I'll review review an article from Men's Health. It's my favorite little magazine, and I've been a subscriber to it for probably 25 years. So I do like it, and sometimes it has stuff that I just flip through, and then sometimes there's a nugget of information that I just think it's interesting. And the reason that this Drenched article uh, got to me was because I guess in my food journey of overeating and binge eating and being addicted to certain foods, there's a few things I'm very grateful for not getting addicted to, and one of them is ranch dressing. And all the accompanying sauces and dips and things that you find, I guess, in casual fast dining and fast food franchises. Somehow I avoided that. So I probably had 40 pounds less to lose when I finally decided to turn it around and start eating healthy. But this doesn't, it's quite the article. And, the scientists in the labs of these food companies are always trying to come up with something new to make us want it. And I remember about 10 years ago when they started advertising a stuffed crust for pizza. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, we've really lost it in in the United States. And yesterday it came to mind. I was doing an Instacart order, and I was thinking, well, whoever ordered this did pretty good with sugar and junk food. There was grains and there was some junk food, but nothing. But it seemed like an order of BBC Better Bad Choices, right? There were no yogurts. There was some veg, um, and then just chicken, like a roasting chicken seasoned, ready to pop in the oven, chicken nuggets, uh, breast tenders, chicken breasts, just lots of chicken. But one of the things that um, made me kind of laugh was it was like one of this, a half a pound of that, 1 3/4 of a pound of that, with the foods and the cold cuts. But then it got to ketchup, and there were 4 bottles of it. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, there's the sugar. It's like these kids must have a cup of sugar with their nuggets. They must drink it down or something because the rest of it didn't make sense. And it was going to a summer rental, so they wouldn't, they're probably only there for the week. And so what do they put all this ketchup on? They must be totally, totally used to it. Well, this Drenched is mostly about the ranch dressings. And I guess one website says there's 39 different variations of ranch, and another site said there's 40. Are you kidding me? And I guess in 2017, they came out with a mini keg of ranch dressing. And so the ranch company, what is it? Hidden Valley, that's owned by, found or sought out every mini keg in the world, and they sold out of them, even with finding every mini keg that there is. And so barbecue sauce is like a close second to it, but ranch really has the variation. And we've become, it's like if there's something healthy underneath the ranch dressing, it's like only a utensil, be it a Tostito, Dorito, whatever those scoops are, and that just brings the sauce to the mouth. And these sauces, there's not just one sauce on things. They showed this picture here where it's got 2 types of sauces on it. And I'm so grateful that I didn't get addicted to these things. Trust me, I had my addictions for sure. But people are just so used to it, and it's all the same ingredients no matter what type of sauce that you use, and they know that. So they have to keep getting more and more creative. And now I was talking about some of the restaurants and what they do to the food. And, I remember people would just ask for a side of something. Now, with me doing Uber Eats, I have no idea what's in the bags because most of them are stapled shut. But it's just amazing with this article that they just depend on you. They assume that you are addicted more to what's on top of it in your mouth. It like there's like a slippery slide of it that gets to all of your parts of your mouth. Hi, Freddie. Hi, Freddie. And how they go about doing it. But, you know, for us here doing keto, some carnivore, it's about the addiction too. And so losing that addiction, they said that there's not really too many different ways that you could change it up. There's hummus, which some people like, and then there's, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's tzatziki, a yogurt-based goop. And they were talking about it as being, you're right, goop. And I talk about it as being lube. And I imagine that there's other terms that they use in these labs or in these board meetings that that they call this stuff hugely profitable, billions and billions of dollars. So if you were addicted to these things and you got off of them, kudos to you, because it just seems like we are a nation of more on top of the more. And, you know, like putting ranch dressing on top of pizza. And it's like food doesn't taste like food unless it has one of these chemical sauces on it. So it's a tough world out there. And I don't know, you know, it's funny because if you can't beat them, join them. And at one point it did say, I can't get over the mini keg. I guess everything, they call it the sea of sameness. Oh, now they have at IHOP, they debuted a special maple sweet and spicy syrup to pour over its chicken and pancakes platter. And I know that they've got the ragweed. I know that they have, I've seen the chicken and waffle ads, I think Kentucky Fried Chicken. None of that made any sense to me. So I guess when you see my little videos of what I'm eating in a day, I try to stick to the real foods out there, real veggies. You know, I still like my butter. I like my ghee. Sometimes on the veggies, on the meat, in the crack slaw. But most of the times I'm having those veggies that you see on the little plate, the asparagus, the zucchini, the pea pods, and the green beans. They're pretty much naked, just steamed, sometimes a wee bit of butter. But fortunately, I don't have to undo my addiction. Now, I did recently buy the Primal Organic barbecue sauce that I have with the chicken, but that definitely is a treat. And I started to get, I got some broccoli slaw that I'm having a little Primal salad dressing marinade on. And that's a treat for me. I never was a condiment person before. And so I'm just grateful for the one less thing. That's how I felt about getting to the black coffee stage, because giving up the fats and the whitener in my coffees for all the decades, from Coffee Mate to heavy cream to keto, all those things that I was able to give up. It's just getting down to the full flavor of the food item for what the food item is. Like when I have a bite of steak or a pork chop, or yes, the chicken breast, even with the sauce. It's just having it, like having the black coffee and just enjoying the black coffee for the flavor of the beans and the different brands that I use. So it took a long, long time to get naked with my foods. Fortunately, I wasn't a slatherer of anything. I liked barbecue sauce, but I never got into the other condiments, never. My hot dogs were always plain. When I went to McDonald's as a fat little girl, where I'd take my Boston Whaler to the McDonald's that was on the water in a couple of towns over. I'd dock it and I'd go up, and I always had to have a plain burger, always. And so, of course, they hated that because they were so used to putting all the stuff on it. But I didn't have to undo that. My bad habits were mostly in the form of sugar, and they would come after a meal, and it would be things that I put on frozen things to have. I wasn't happy with just the thing. I had to put on as much sugar items as I could on top of it. So we each have our poisons that are kind of kryptonite to us, and it's just interesting to get far enough away from them, far enough unaddicted to them, that we can look back and say, whew, yeah, that was a good thing that I got rid of there. And, going through it, there's that withdrawal, that white knuckle on the couch when other people had it, when ads came on with it. But to get further past that and just know that that beast of burden of an addiction of a certain type of food, what a relief to kind of lose it behind. For me, it was definitely the coffee mixtures. But I can see after reading this Drenched, I mean, the fact that it starts off healthy with the broccoli, but by the time they get done with the 4 tablespoons of the goop on it, you're way past your whatever it was with your allowance for the day of foods. And what was a treat now became almost, something that you'd have to tie off your arm and inject. I'm glad to be away from that. So certain particular addictions are interesting. And reading that, I have so much sympathy for people that are trying to give that up, just even the ketchup with the sugar in it. And I know that Heinz does have a sugar-free, I think it's Heinz, has the sugar-free ketchup. And I know that that's been a great item for a lot of people. And, the funny part is getting used to something that's sugar-free doesn't mean that we necessarily want the artificially sweetened items, because that's something that I see. I see it in toothpaste and mouthwash and cold medicines and, all the other things. No, I don't want the sugar, the artificial sweetener in place of the sugar. I like getting used to the item with no sweetener in it. So, that's the difference of being sugar-free, going without the sugar, or being sweetener-free. And for some of us, being addicted to the sweeteners is the challenge as well. Not only finding the product, but getting used to it. But, it's a day at a time. I can't imagine those shelves that I don't have to look at and pine for, like what this was saying, 40 different brands of 40 different varieties of ranch. Crazy. And I see it with the Instacart, because it's like when they ask for something like, it's just amazing, the different varieties that I'm not looking for anymore. I don't even see when I walk in. It's the produce, it's the meat offerings, it's what you got in dairy, like when I found the double cream Good Culture organic cottage cheese. It's like, ooh, what's this green label? And it's like, ooh, I like that 6% fat. So thank you for watching. And I hope that this helps. I hope that you can identify with part of this, your journey in giving up things. It's quite the journey. And pat yourself on the back if you've given up something like these one items that were just so addictive. It's amazing. For me, it was the coffee add-ins. For some people, clearly, it's the sauces. But a day at a time, we can get through it. I'm so glad that you're here. Keto, pretty clean, pretty meat, veg, fats, and dairy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye for now.